Control Authority meeting on Wednesday, February 21st. There is a posted agenda. Which one do I do first? Call to order?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, so
They'll tell you.
yeah, I really need that training for next week to be.
Next week's training.
Are there any proposed changes to the posted agenda? Hearing none, I guess, yeah, so yeah, first order of business is the approval of the January 17th, 2024
Motion to accept.
meeting minutes.
I think he made a motion, Tom made a motion to do it. If we can clear
Yes, we can try.
the screen there. We just can't see you. Hold on a minute, Tom.
Hold on. Okay,
Just click anywhere besides there. There we
there we
go.
go.
Motion from Tom.
Did you make
To
a motion
accept.
just then? You had your finger up.
Yeah, motion to accept.
There it is. Okay.
Second by Chris. Any discussion?
Good to me.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it appears to be unanimous. Next order of business, so what's this process for entering the executive session again?
Motion to enter into executive session concerning pending claim litigation at 131 Beach Road.
Second.
Second by Chris, all in favor?
So you have to, in the motion, say that you're inviting Attorney Schellenberg and Attorney.
Got it. Okay, so,
I don't know if you want to invite.
Don't put us in that position.
You have to walk. Future meeting. So if you want to, you have to include him in the motion.
okay,
So I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session concerning pending claim litigation, 131 Beach Road, with attorney Barbara Schellenberg and the town attorney Philip Spears. And I would like to invite in to the session, John Marsilio, David Becker. Dylan? That's what I thought. So he was.
Exhibition.
Okay.
Sure, I'd love to.
okay. Second by Chris, all in favor? Unanimous?
Okay, you gotta get us into the aisle now.
Yes, I think where you need to be.
Right. I'll make a motion to come out of executive session. Can't hurt anything.
Second by Chris, all in favor?
Bye.
Unanimous?
Thank you, guys.
All right, good night.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Two people in the waiting rooms.
There it is.
Next item on the agenda, status, next steps and timeline of phase 1 and 2 of Metro. Thank you, John.
It could be.
Here in a
Phase 1 and phase 2 of Metro Center.
Status, next steps and timeline.
East Trunk, phase 1 and 2.
Yep.
Thanks.
All right. So you know that there's been a change in designers.
Right.
We've got DMV to take over after lack of performance by Cardinal. We've had to pay them some more money, obviously, to validate previous plans. And it's my understanding we should have plans ready sometime in the middle of the month. So we are looking at a bid timeframe of probably sometime in April to get bids in. We have our fingers crossed. We're very hopeful that we can garner some better attention to get these jobs. Or bids. To this point, it has been a dearth of bids. And that was the purpose of combining the two pieces of the project.
And on that one too, is that, what were we talking about doing, is doing a unit pricing on that? For the both, do you think that's gonna help? Sorry.
I think first and foremost, the scope of the project that's going to garner bid.
Yeah.
To go from a $7 million project to maybe $20 million project or $18 million project is gonna be more attractive. That's the first, motivation. Providing the two. There's absolutely, economies of scale, there's absolutely savings because of, general conditions on the same project, same location. So, we want some larger contractors and we want them to, we're gonna have to do some reaching out, I think, once we see the project, once we see the actual plans, we're gonna have to reach out to some substantial contractors. Funny thing has happened lately, we've gotten a lot of interest just on some FEMA work we had today around town, not very large, but we got significant contractors to go on the job walk today. A lot of questions, like 4 major contractors who I know of and are significant contractors. So we're gonna have to do the same thing. We're gonna have to market this almost.
Bucky, sorry, one more thing, and you're comfortable with, certifying from Cardinal to D and B, you're comfortable on the plans, how they are from going one and then D and B certified, I just wanna make sure at least engineering, you guys are comfortable, so all of a sudden if some issue happens, is someone gonna be saying, well, is that?
Well, we're
Cardinal's
paying them
problem?
extra.
Yes.
We're paying them to review those plans. We're
Okay.
Paying them to do other subsurface investigations, whatever they were uncomfortable with.
Okay.
They iterated, they gave us a price, we paid them. Now, there was money left over in the Cardinal contract, so I don't know the exact numbers there.
Yeah.
I'll have to take a look at that. But yeah,
You think we'll be covered in?
they're gonna
They're gonna
stamp
stamp.
those prints,
Okay,
okay?
sounds good.
I don't know.
Who's doing the contractor reconnaissance?
Well, we're gonna have to do it through purchasing, obviously, and,
I mean, right now, though, we can at least, I mean, it's public knowledge, we're in a meeting, we can tell any contractor that this is coming out.
yeah, I mean, I have a list of people who I'm certainly gonna reach out for,
Right.
Local people who do large work like that,
Okay.
There's Brennan, there's Iplucio, there's Darling, there's many around here, we've gotta reach out, and I can tell you that one of the one reason they were reluctant in phase 1 was because required some kind of like a pseudo marine experience, like someone who works in water,
Right.
in I don't know, well points, and then the other portion of this, obviously, that scares people is the prospect of unsuitable materials. Have to pump into frac tanks and deal with all of that. And sometimes there's some unknowns involved in that. That's the problem.
Right.
So look, let's get the plans. We'll develop a way forward with purchasing to attract bidders. And then what we'll do is hopefully have maybe some discourse with them and say, look, we're encouraging you to do that. We think you're a good contractor. Not everybody's gonna be able to get a, $15 to $20 million bond.
Sure.
So you're gonna be dealing with significant people. You could have an ONG down there. I don't know. The fellow we have at Penfield right now, Brunali, from upstate, is a significant contractor, and he took that job. So there is an appetite for leaving, the home area geographically and right now. So that's encouraging.
I just want to make sure you're aware, John, that there are still, at least the last time I saw the plans, and plans keep switching a little bit, there were 5 or 7 houses, I forgot the number, on Kenwood.
Yep.
that weren't addressed in the initial Cardinal work.
I haven't seen the plan yet. I don't know.
Okay, but tuck that in the back of your mind.
What else hasn't, yeah.
That
The other
just,
thing that hasn't been addressed is swinging those sewer lines around for those other dozen or so houses.
so that's really what I'm getting at. I think that the Kenwood houses, they have them in the back and the pipe's gonna be in the front.
But Cardinal never even
No, they never addressed it.
surveyed
Right.
the sill elevation.
That's why I'm bringing it up. Thank you.
I don't think that's part of the base scope though here.
I don't know, but we can't lose track of it.
Just that if I-
Can't lose track of
That's
it.
gonna be a
Of course.
big
That
add
would be, the board's decision, what they want to do. with it.
Yeah, but we haven't seen any options.
We
That's,
haven't seen the plans yet, Joe. When we see the plans,
But-
we'll see how comprehensive they are, and then there'll be decisions to make.
perfect. They weren't in the original plans was my point.
And I don't think they will be here either, but let's cross that bridge when we get there. We're not holding things up for 7 houses.
No, we're not holding, but I want to make sure we have a plan for those.
Understood. Point taken. Any other questions? All right. Thanks, Bucky. Next item on the agenda, discussion on consultant findings and recommendations. And so that was the 3 different reports, led by Woodard and Curran. I'll take the first one on the facility report. So the facility report, they did, condition assessment and plant interviews. And they identified, I don't have the cheat sheet in front of me, but it was, thank you.
There you go. Run the cheat sheet.
That's actually all I needed. Yep. So they identified about 15 million in high priority infrastructure repairs and upgrades at the treatment plant. About 3 million in medium priority and then 16 million in low priority. This is the most up-to-date one, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
This is. This one.
That's the one. Okay.
Don't you travel?
All right. Let me revise those numbers. 18 points, just about 7 million in high priority, just under 4 million in medium, and then 11.5 million in low priority. We are currently
Say that again?
18.7 million,
Okay, you got the right one.
9, yeah, just under 4, and then 11.5. Okay. So are we moving forward with the high and the medium or just the high in terms of incorporating into our capital program?
We're not moving forward with anything just yet.
Incorporating into the plan, though.
Plan was, to 3 things. The high, the medium, and the final page of the report that talks about
Right.
further investigation, recommended additional assessments. So those are the 3 items we're looking at, and those are the 3 items that are in the number two.
Right. Thank you. Yep. So the good news is that these numbers replace the whatever 60 to 120 million dollar placeholder that we were
last time.
yeah, previously holding for plant upgrades. So that number has reduced dramatically. So the treatment plant upgrade work is significantly less than what we had previously been carrying. But especially the high priority items are things that we would like to cover, I think ideally in the next 5 years. So hence the name high priority. So there's still a lot of work to do in terms of, to some extent, planning, at least for the additional evaluations, then design and construction for those rehab. So that's kind of the summary or the big takeaway for the facility report. John, did you,
You can keep that.
okay, did you want to talk about the
We
operations?
kind of touched on that last.
Question on the facility report?
Do you want to just?
Or do you want to do it all at the
Whatever
end?
you want to do.
I don't care, whatever you want to do.
Okay. Let's go through each one and then open up our questions.
We touched on a few things from the operational performance assessment last time. And we did some action stuff on the low hanging fruit stuff we can incorporate I can go through all these if you want.
We don't have to do that, Jeff.
Okay.
I will distribute,
Let's share that, yeah.
everything that we could do, we did. There's a few things that we need to reach out to other people, get some numbers and get them in place, but we've done all this. So I will distribute this to everybody.
Is that the narrative I asked for?
Yes,
Okay.
and that's the one I sent to you, which I apologize I didn't send to everybody.
You could share that with everyone.
I will.
So to clarify, the operational report had recommendations for areas of improvement for operations. And so John has gone ahead and put together a response document for each of those recommendations, either how he's currently or how we are planning to address those.
You'll have them all bright early tomorrow.
And then the organizational report, Bucky, do you want to?
Well, the organization, I think after extensive conversation with the selectmen and everyone was in agreement that we should adopt for recommendations. For you to know, the original budgets reflect the increase in personnel. And including a managerial position. We don't know what we'll yet, but once those budgets are approved, we'll be implementing the full complement of workers that the operational audit indicates. So the administration's foursquare behind WPCA into this century with, rock for Europeans and it's been budgeted in that fashion.
I've been talking a lot about WPA. It's my favorite topic, and I'm just here to show support tonight because it's so important for the future of the town. And I can't wait to start talking about other parts of town that Joe says we can't build in yet until we do it. So, thank you. That's really it. So, big priority.
Before we go further, let me look at the, yeah. Okay, so I'll get into some of the other capital issues.
Right. So that's it for, I think, the reports. Any questions?
Okay, first the comment.
Sure.
I would like to thank first, select folks in the room. An excellent, we've got our advocate now that I think we were missing over the last 2 or 3 years because of other situations. So we thank you for that, for Bucky.
You're welcome.
No.
Please volunteer.
I do have a question and it goes back to the original. I like taking the 98 million out because I was never a big advocate of that. But are we going to be reprioritizing? In other words, we have monies in the budget now for pump stations and all sorts of things. And as we layer on this other 18.4 million, will we be pushing those pump stations out? Is that our plan or?
I can answer.
Okay, that was the question.
So I have shared with the finance department, we have a new capital projects finance person. So everything that I had put in a little basket and brought over to Sabrina. And John collaborated on at least the plant.
Absolutely, yep.
Right, and you laid them out over time. And then we plugged in pump stations, and then we plugged in the I&I. So this isn't final yet, or I would have shared it with you, because there's still some adjustments and it hasn't been approved by anybody. It'll come to you as soon as finance is comfortable that it's correct. And she's an excellent person, and She has done an incredible job. So when, probably by the next meeting, you're gonna have a 10-year plan for improvements that are required in those three areas. Oh, I hope that answers your question, Chief.
It does. I mean, it got me in the direction, because obviously, we've got a fund of money. I don't know how many times we're gonna be able to spend it on the same things and different things, but I know the town is now looking at also helping to
Well, I
fund,
think-
or at least conceptually made a statement that maybe there is other opportunities.
I've had that discussion, as you say, advocate, I've been your advocate.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
You've offered my opinion. I've offered you also. That's yet to be seen. Nothing's been completely decided yet, and it will be once these spreadsheets are done. It is significant. If you think, I'll tell you right from the start, if you think that the facilities improvements was a bonus, it is a bonus. Because otherwise, this spreadsheet would have been just off the charts as it is. It's really, really, really significant. So again, when this is done, it should be shortly, has to be reviewed. You'll get it, and you can, I don't really know what the process would be, whether you approve it or not. These are real numbers. We pressed our consultants to give us real numbers, real budgets instead of back of the envelope. They're not happy with me, but you know, that's my job. And you know, I don't want to go forward anymore with these you know, lazy you know, spitball numbers. We're refining this all the time. And we've incorporated contingency money, percentages, just like any construction project would ever have. So it'll be a real budget when you see it, and we're very close to finishing it.
Any other questions on any of the three reports?
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
Could we go to item 5? Would I be able to give you my reports on completion design, page 5, and page 3?
Do we have to?
I'd like to make a motion.
Yes.
From at the beginning. I'd like to make a motion to move item 5 to the next agenda item.
Second, all in favor? Unanimous? All right.
Thank you very much.
Update on current projects.
Current projects. So, Iron Bond's contract has been approved by the Board of Selectmen. And 3 pump stations, Fairfield Beach Road, Center Street, and Pine Creek, for $1,175,000 has been approved. Let me tell you the process we're going to engage in there.
It's the design.
There's 3 projects. The first project, the Fairfield Beach Road project, we will award as a complete project, meaning there will be the initial design development, construction drawings. I have never used this consultant for pump stations before. I've used a lot of other consultants for pump stations. And I'm not willing to go all in on any of these projects. So what we will do is we will award the Fairfield Beach Pump Station project for complete design. And that would be a total of $496,000. And we will award the investigations on Center Road and Pine Street Pump Station. We will be monitoring the responsiveness of these consultants. And we will get to a point where their initial investigations can give us real live numbers coming out. I have numbers on all three of these. I'm comfortable with these numbers, but as they do their investigations, and if we're comfortable with those numbers, then we will award the whole project. Now, one quick question, a while ago, this board discussed a task order for the remaining pump stations. This was back in, I think in November, for Toll House, Mill River, Eastfield Drive, and Willow Street. So you authorized. So instead of 3 pump stations, it sounds to me like 7. I don't want to do 7. I want to do 3. We have them in the spreadsheet, 7. But they're off. They're 3 or 4 years out, and you know what can happen to a price between now and then. So why spend the money? We'll get to them at the appropriate time. But I think that might have been a little premature. So that's what I am telling you that I would like to do. Unless there's an objection, that's the way we should go.
Okay, so just from a point of backup, and I'm in agreement with you, when we went with the others, all of them, we've heard from the town engineers that there would be some benefit in designing them all at the same time. I'm not saying right or wrong, but that was the basis of what we.
I don't think it's so much a design, it's peripheral investigation on easements, structures. It's not so much design the pump station, just get some basic groundwork that I was told doesn't really go stale and would be useful down the road when we were ready to design them. That's my understanding.
So that was the basis for why.
No, look,
I'm agreeing with you,
Yeah.
John. That was the basis as to why.
I'm telling you that after Center Street, the next pump station is Pine Creek, and that isn't scheduled until 2027. And that's optimistic also. So you've got a whole year of experience to get under your belt, see how they perform, see how the estimates are coming. You'll have 2 or 3 pump stations in progress. And I think then you can make a prudent decision on what to do. So that's why I've taken this position. And if you'd like to recommend it differently, it's your money.
From my point of view, no, but when you referring to pump station, you're also referring to pump station force mains,
No, the whole
whole
project.
thing. Okay, sometimes it's shorthand and I need to hear that, but detail wise. Can I just ask or make a statement? I had talked to the folks down, these Fairfield Beach Association folks, and I know you love them.
I have no problem with them. They have a problem.
When I talked to them about, seriously, when I talked to them about the Fairfield Beach pump station, they asked only whether it could look like, from an outside point of view, not the design of the pumps and a lighthouse.
Yeah, Joe, all it takes is money.
And I would like you to be aware of that and give us a couple of options when they design it. That's all I'm asking.
I've already shared that with the
Oh,
design.
you had heard. I mean, I'm telling everybody I can tell, but I just want to make sure you heard.
And
Okay.
I've asked them to be prepared for that. Were you in that meeting when I told them that? Okay.
I think it'll,
So, at some
That's fine
point, there's gonna be a
we want it to look like the lighthouse that's down at Penfield. Could you make it look like the Penfield Lighthouse? I'm sorry.
Okay, so that's pump stations. Any other questions on pump stations?
I like them a lot. I actually toured that pump station. It was very deep. You could hide people.
There's a pump station in Greenwich that looks like a lighthouse.
Yeah, I think that's where the idea came from.
Okay, the phase 5, and I am.
The old ones in Philly are beautiful architecture.
Of course,
And so do we.
not as much as they.
Phase 5 I and I.
So phase five I was approved by the Board of Selectmen for $256,000.
62.6, not to exceed.
Is the right Pierce code?
Yes, correct. That was just 4 hours ago.
Just today.
That is phase five, design of phase five. So, we'll be ready to move on that. And I would recommend we immediately begin doing the investigation on phase six. So if,
What do you mean by that?
I mean, this construction project is based on phase five investigations.
Right.
Okay, I think we should begin doing the investigation on phase six. And, we can determine, the cost of phase six. And it would probably be late next year or the year after that you're gonna be doing phase six. We've programmed $1.5 million a year in I&I, in this plan. We discussed that. So in order to,
That's the
in
inconsistent
order to
thing.
accomplish
Put it in your
that,
budget?
No, that's in the capital plan.
Okay, we've never capitalized I&I work before. I mean, I have no problem with doing it.
you can fund it any way you
Well,
want.
I just want to make sure we're consistent. We'll talk to the,
Well, all you,
You're doing it within, you're doing it within the budget and potentially within your capital fund. I guess the question would be if we start to bond out for it, then that's another story. My view is on the I&I that the more that we can start to, I've equated, it's not a great analogy, but I've equated it to paving as sort of a lawn arc item that would be better to be paid for as we go if we can build the lines up. Whether that's town or WPCA, there's certain things that should be capitalized and bonded out, and there's other things that there's sort of known numbers that we're gonna start to roll in and build in. As we phase into some of these items and kind of ramp some of these maybe budgets up, similar to that item, you don't necessarily always do it exactly how you want, but we need to sort of decide what the long term is and then how we bridge the budgets to get to that. I do agree that the I&I and any of these studies that we should be staying several years ahead of ourselves from a costing perspective. It'll allow whether it's a budget, capital account, or a bonding, it will allow us to stay ahead of the curve accuracy. And for planning to consistently have things in the pipeline.
well, if we put 750 in the operating budget as we do every year,
Yes.
and we tie that to our rate increases. So, I mean, if we don't spend it out of operating and we just are spending it against capital servicing, it'll just fall into our fund. So
Yeah,
I'm
and
worried about that, but I just wanted you to be aware that up to this point, we have consistently done it through operating money.
Yeah.
Capital.
But if it's
That's all.
taking out of your capital fund that was funded out of operating, it's a little bit different than capitalizing it through a bonding program, I guess is sort of where I'm going.
Joe, I
It
would
puts it on the same plane.
I would recommend you wait a little bit, not a lot, until you get the full capital plan to see what you think you can support
Right.
on the operating side.
Right.
Versus the capital side. I think you're gonna be surprised. It is formative. And I
He
don't,
knows.
I don't think I'll be surprised. It's a good value, some of my numbers. I don't think I'll be surprised. Shocked always, but
no, not shocked, but, so I'll just give you this much, around, just from the treetops. Take the improvements to the plan and triple them.
times 3 is 54.
No,
The improvement,
34 million times
oh,
three.
you're talking about all the improvements, not just phase
So
one.
now this is 10 years out, is what I'm talking about. So for the next 10 years. So.
That's the 98 we had in there originally,
Well,
just in 3 years.
That's
So it's
just-
a,
That was just for the
it's a
plan.
98, but over a much broader set of
Broader.
items. And some of them,
I'm anxious to see the new layout
When this is done, you'll get it.
when it's done.
So the last item is Attorney Creek.
Sorry, wait, real quick.
Go ahead.
Phase six I&I, are we planning on doing that with our in-house inspection crews or are we doing?
We'll work that out. Whatever we can do, we'll do.
Okay,
And You know, certainly there have to be some design done, but whatever we can do for investigations, we'll do. Work that out, John.
We're, with an extra person, we're ramping up some of the camera equipment. We'll be able to get out there and do a lot in-house, more than we're doing now.
We can't do the smoke testing and. you're
No,
not gonna do
understood, yeah.
outsourcing.
Do we have I'll go to, through you, Mr. Chair, do we have a specific part of town that we're going to concentrate on, or we still haven't decided that yet?
You know, there was a master plan done. But, I mean, but that's not, you wouldn't just throw that out because it's.
So,
They prioritized the entire town.
And our guys that are out there kind of know more
Hotspot.
troubled areas yet.
High ROI early on and then fan out from there.
There's some significant issues in spots that we need to get after, so. And obviously, we're gonna concentrate above Metro on the East Trunk side, but there's also a spot in Southport that's,
I would also like to throw in my Thorpe Street, which I always throw in.
what?
Thorpe, between Thorpe and
Oh,
Road.
yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions on
My own.
I and I? Comments, questions?
That's where your flow goes through.
All right, Bucky, Turkey Creek?
The bids on Turney Creek are in. Have about $5,700,000. It's the low bidder. That includes your siphons. Your siphon portion came in over $1 million. And I know what you've authorized. Had a discussion with the interim finance. Officer. So we're not gonna come back at you for more money. I guess it's the 940 and we're gonna eat a portion of
At
it.
the 400.
And that start date is going to be in April. So we'll be closing that road. We'll be starting with siphon work. You know, something, there was a lot of discussion, Joe, over time. Was this also that the third siphon was,
I think redundant was the word that was bandied
we
about.
have redundant siphons.
Yes, we have two. That
We
one
have-
was redundant.
we got the three in there.
Third.
But what we do here, I think, is prudent in this respect. We're doing this for the next 60 years, 80 years. Come on. This is where everything in 2/3 of the town goes, right here. So the third siphon, I think, is a prudent thing to do. We asked for a deduct for the third siphon. And we would have saved $36,250. Once they have that trench open.
Added it's 300,000. When we deducted, it's 36.
Paying for, well, once they have the trench open, it's
Yeah.
the pipe material.
It's material. That was
So,
explained.
there was no savings, really. So we're gonna go with the three siphons. We're going to, we'll absorb on the town side, extra money. We'll get this done, and that piece done.
That will show up.
So you're in for 940. We're in for 120. WPCA, don't say we never gave you anything.
Gave us you.
$4.2 million is town money again.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Any questions?
Thank you.
No questions. Thanks, Bucky.
See you next month.
Moving on to new business. Shane?
I was just waving.
Thanks, John. Thank you.
To discuss and act on sewer adjustment for 1910 Black Rock Turnpike. Taking that one.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to make a one-time adjustment to 1910 Black Rock Turnpike sewer assessment from $4,914 to $474. The adjustment is based on a documented leak repaired in October 2022. The adjustment is based on using the prior year's water usage multiplied by the current year rate with its increase of 5%. And I would like to also have the commission authorize the tax collector to execute this adjustment.
Second,
Second.
Chris? Discussion?
This is Dunkin' Donuts now we're talking about.
I just redid that whole store.
It's commercial. Vote on approving it then? There's no discussion?
Yeah, just ask for, all in favor.
All right, all in favor? Unanimous. And next, to discuss and act on sewer adjustment for 431 South Benson Road. Joe?
I'd like to make a motion to make an adjustment for the sewer assessment of 431 South Benson Road to the minimum $165. The adjustment is based on the documentation provided that fixed significant water leaks in the home.
Second.
Second by Chris. Discussion? Questions, comments? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Joe. Bypasses?
None,
None.
none,
Great news.
yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Chris, second by Joe, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right. Nice job. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.